again, this is just something that came in the midst of the path that I walked, the journey that I walked. And like I said, this was over 20 years ago that this was written. And I know this is going to be one that people are going to I'll probably get a lot of, well, you'll see. Oh my goodness. Namaste and good morning all. Okay, going to jump in both feet on this one. Let's see how it flies with you all. Please don't crucify me, at least not yet. So I know that it was going to be controversial. Okay, very controversial. I knew that going in. And again, this was written about 20 years ago. So this is a back and forth that I was having with somebody. They're talking and I'm answering them. I think this was on the when I had the God Realize site. Okay, so this is taken from there, this exchange. There were some in the order, and so this is somebody that was also in the order with me. We were in an esoteric Christian order, okay? There were some in the order who were very spiritually evolved, but were emotionally and ethically quite a bit behind the curve. Likewise, there are those that are not as spiritually aware, e.g. don't know chakra from shinola, but are wonderfully giving, kind, and honest folks. And I said, please don't equate relative knowledge and a gathering of facts with spirituality. Just because someone appears to know a lot of facts doesn't mean that A, they're living them or attempting to live them, or B, that they have an inner knowing and a depth of experience. Many that appear to be spiritual are only talking the talk. The experience is not there. It is simply all surface with no depth. In the beginning, you gather facts, which translates into theory. Then you start putting the theory or facts into practice. This brings us to the next question. And I still wonder if it's possible for someone to be unethical and spiritually evolved at the same time, even in this context of growth spurts in certain areas of a person. My answer is this is exactly it. You grow with each ideation that turns on a light. Move forward, sometimes in leaps and sometimes step by step. No one goes in and suddenly is enlightened. Well, okay, so enlightenment does happen in an instant, but that instant takes years to reach. So just because an ideation has been somewhat illumined in one area, there may be blindness in another area. All truth is not gained until enlightenment. Until then, you move forward, attempting to create and live in new ideations and concepts. This brings us to the next question. I said, well, with that, as a somewhat sketchy prelude, what I want to ask is, do you think that the gathering focus and energy of light and the consciousness that comes with it have any meaningful relation to political theory and governmental structure? I'm not sure I really understand. Someone's saying, are you asking if evidence of our spiritual growth is reflected or demonstrated in social action, or acting in a way to bring the outer world more into alignment with illumined consciousness? So the answer I gave was, so now what happens as you develop spiritually on the path, your ideations change. You become aware of compassion and love, etc., and these then are grasped, and you want to save the world. The Messiah complex takes over, or the Buddha of compassion in the Buddhist world ideation. At any rate, you want to heal the world's pain. But the world alone can heal its pain. The world creates and sustains it. So this is again a process of unfolding. You become aware of others' pain, etc., but then you will find in the next segment, and this is a tough one, that you cannot, nor is it your job to heal the world. The only one that has the right to change themselves is, guess what? That singular individual. And each are entitled to whatever reality they are living, for whatever reason. At any rate, you move forward in ideations, becoming more pure in mind and intent and action, until, guess what? You go into the experience of loss of self or self-realization. Then your whole ideation of what is right, wrong, and the view that you must save existence are blown out of the water. From there, the universe changes. It is fine and perfect as it is. Each is responsible for their own experience, and all is created and sustained here on earth plane by mind and concepts alone. And how is it? How is that changed? Just by living your existence as it unfolds, you are a center point and the whole of creation. What you send forth goes as a ripple across consciousness. One is touched and another at deeper depths than what you could ever do by social programs, etc. These things do not change the inner, only make an attempt to cover over the internal conscious mind held ideations of mankind. In other words, it is simply a bandage. Go forward and live life as it is. The spirit or self is never touched or harmed by any of the happenings or experiences sustained by the individual life. And the planet moves according to the whole unit of mind within the conscious mindset of the race of mankind. Therefore, what is to be changed? We change it through programs, etc., when in ego and still wish to control ourselves or others. You relinquish control when you surrender all to the universal soul or self or source. Life here is simply unfolding experience, transient plays of varied awareness, limited consciousness veiled and held in place by body and mind. When those are released, then all comes into place, and unity is known, and the world remains fine as it is. As long as there is duality, then there will remain black, white, right, wrong, life, death, etc., etc. When that is transcended, it no longer matters. But one that has gone beyond those distinctions and ideations still has compassion for mankind and their perceived sufferings, and therefore moves as per what mankind would perceive and accept as a compassionate person. They simply move and have being, not their being, but being as it is in the moment. The ideations have ended. The path has ended. The mind and thought have ended. The want to do has ended. The need to do has ended. There is simply the utter depths and heights of silent awareness of universe as it is. The perfection which sustains it and underlies it is known to be the primary reality, not the transient happenings on the surface. So with that, there is no longer doing, nor attempting to change, nor judging anyone's perceived reality. Simply life is lived as it unfolds. While focused within, you are the universe. While focused without, you are a cell in the universe. When transcending both, there is simply being, within and without. When they are transcended, a still, silent, fluid awareness that moves in the transient, while situated within the unmoving constant called truth or source or seed of life. Now, this being said, does not mean that one that has entered realization won't go into doing what is possible, to aid mankind. Some will go into social programs, because again, you don't want to see the suffering of humanity. If you have a map, a way to aid people to move forward, to come out of suffering, of course you give what can be given. But again, you're not going to heal all of the universe. You're not going to heal everything. Each person is responsible for their own existence, their own life. Okay? So that's what I meant, but about, you're not going to go out and heal everyone. You can give the aids, you can give the path, you can give things that are to help people to move forward, but they have to do it themselves. They have to want to change. They have to be able and want to do the work themselves. Okay? So, and in order to give something to someone that's beneficial, you have to have walked that journey yourself. You have to know, have been in the mix and be able to get out of it in order to give something that's going to be a benefit to people in their own journeys. Okay? So I'm going to leave this here. Again, this was something that was written 19, 20 years ago. And it comes out of the journey, as one walks, then these keys, these doorways open and this knowledge comes. So I'm going to leave this here. Love and light. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you online.